Density, as defined by physics, is mass divided by volume, where mass is an intrinsic property measuring the amount any substance may produce gravity. In density as a scale of consciousness or vibration, we define density as a measure of the amount of information or light within a given space, where the space or volume is the volume of an individual being's 7-body aura. So there are two main models when looking at density in use today, and they are causing some confusion in the collective, I would say. So we have commonly in use the 7-density system from the Law of One, and then also there is a 12-density dimension system that is commonly found throughout esoterica from Kabbalah, Theosophy, and various other systems. And what it truly is that system is much more human-centric and relevant to the human story and from the human perspective than the 7-density system proposed by the Law of One. Because the 7-density system proposed by the Law of One, and if you look at it, each density is billions of years of evolution sometimes. So these huge scales of evolution were the original scales used in the creation of this universe and the various stages it went through in the evolution of consciousness on the various planets. But when we're looking at Earth, it's a bit of a different story here, because Earthlings didn't have to evolve from molecules up to their current stage of humanity. There were various interactions with various extraterrestrial and angelic and extra-dimensional species. So because there was seeding here and genetic manipulation, and because there is literal incarnation of higher density soul and light beings into the collective to raise it up for the particular purpose of humanity and the evolution of the Earth. Therefore, we are looking at quite a different story when dealing with the Earth story. But let us first look at the 7-density system proposed by the Law of One, because it does shed quite a bit of light on the mechanics of the universe and the way different evolution and civilizations have evolved and interacted within this universe. And much of this will correspond to the other systems of Theosophy and various esoterica. But even before I do that, let me say I don't know if this is mentioned explicitly, or at least in this way in the Law of One, but according to my own understanding and Theosophy and many other systems, there are two main paths we can look at when dealing with life and creation and experience within the universe and the whole cosmos. And these two paths are the conscious path, or the path we are on, the path of consciousness, the path of awareness, the path of individualization into a soul, and then rejoining the collective in the higher realms of light and love. But the other path is not the path exploring the experience and consciousness of things. It is the path concerned with the creation of the form of things, the actual structure of things, the actual geometries and mathematics, and the actual creation of the universe itself, the actual way the form and the planets and everything fits together, and all the different energies and the shape and all that. All of that is controlled by the Davic and angelic kingdoms. So this is a completely different evolutionary path, and one informs the other. One we both need each other. They're counterbalanced and interdependent on each other. In other words, we need the Davic kingdom to keep all this going for us, including our own bodies. They are involved with every single life form here, with its maintenance, with its structure, with its evolution. and they work with us and our needs and our experience to do that. And through our experience, they learn and they understand better what they need to do in their jobs and their growth. So both sides work together to create the other. But again, let us return to the law of one and its 7-density model, starting with first density, which is the density of beingness. Beingness. This is the kingdom of the elements and the minerals. It is the realm of atomic and quantum experience and understanding. Far from being the lowest or most basic level, it is the level of God descending into matter. It is the Creator diving into its creation. It is us learning in our creation from our creating. As infinity cannot be divided, we have never left our Creator. Rather, the creation is within the Creator and permeates every atom within its infinite beingness. This density corresponds to the root chakra and the color red, and meditations upon this will ground you into your very being. This is the density of quantum probabilities, fractal worlds, and is home to various elemental and atomic beings carrying out the functions of creation. Second density is the density of plant and animal life, and represents spirit now embedded in matter, reaching back to the source of life and light and creation. So first, we have the elements forming matter, and then we experience the mineral kingdom. The mineral kingdom at its highest level, as it prepares to cross kingdoms into second density, becomes radioactive, and then this radiation produces the fungal plant bodies. Microscopic life, which will reach to the sun through the plant kingdom, working hand in hand with the fungal kingdom to terraform the land and the life forms and prepare the way for higher evolution. Bacteria and viral code as its messengers. It corresponds to the second chakra and the color orange. Its lessons are growth, survival, and evolution. Second density life eventually evolves into individual awareness, and through interactions with third density life as pets learns to cross into the next density. Third density is the density of the self-individual awareness. It is also the density of the veiling and the choice and the creation of the ego. Meaning, it is at third density where the belief in separation and the necessity for survival, since one learns about death and has forgotten its past existence to the point that it believes this is perhaps the only life it has, so it can be manipulated through fear. Therefore, this is the density where the whole battle between fear and love, good and evil, self-preservation or the preservation of all, self-growth, self-evolvement, or the evolvement and good of all, is chosen. It is the density where struggle, pain, fear are all felt most viscerally. So life after life, in third density, the ego will reincarnate, being guided by its higher self and soul in the higher dimensions, balancing karma, learning lessons, until finally the ego has enough wisdom and enough understanding to turn towards love, to turn towards its soul, to turn towards its higher self, and ask for help. But the ego must explore all its desires, all its compulsions, all its addictions. It must explore all its fears, Everything the ego wants must be explored, or else it will not be ready to surrender to the growth, knowledge, power, and purpose of its higher destiny. Okay, so to exemplify what I was talking about earlier about the time scale and the density scale from the law of one not being exactly applicable to Earth, okay, and there are two reasons for that. So they have the time scale of first density as 2 billion years, and then that would be the start of second density, and then we have 4.6 billion years of second density till the start of third density life. So that's 6.6 billion years. So when you first hear that, you could think, okay, well that fits because Earth's probably been here for billions of years, and then it has third density being a 75,000 year cycle, which would put us back 3 of the great cycles of the precessional equinox, the 25,000, 26,000 year old cycles, okay? But here's where the problem occurs. It has fourth density, which I'll get into in a second. But just as a brief example of a fourth density life, they list, the law of one lists Jesus being that someone who is exemplifying unconditional love, because that is the main point of fourth density, unconditional love. But they have it lasting 30 million years. 30 million years. And then they have fifth density, where one moves into their crystal light body and becomes immortal and can change shape and form, all that, if they want, as a 50 million year cycles. So that would imply that we are going to become a spacefaring race for the next 30 million years with, some kind of telepathic abilities, like maybe like the Pleiadians or something, or what we picture as Pleiadian travelers. And, the big difference between fourth density love and fifth density wisdom is that the fourth density will still fight the dark. The fourth density can still get caught in suffering and not respecting the free will and evolution and power of all beings, can keep throwing themselves into the fire and they don't understand that it is unwise to lose oneself in order to save oneself or to save another. It does not always help both. Instead, it drags both down. So again, looking at this scale, it would imply that it's going to take us 30 million years to learn that lesson, because they're saying that we entered the fourth density on 2012. And we would agree, except that what we're actually in is, we are in the fourth density, we are in the fourth dimension, but we are in a intermediary between moving into 5D and the fifth dimension and our crystal light bodies. And that again is because many of the beings here are already highly evolved beings. Our souls and our oversouls are highly evolved beings already. Many of us star seeds came down already from fifth, sixth density, and some of us even higher, to help lift up this planet, to help create the whole plan here, to fulfill the whole plan, and to lift us into 5D, which is where we are going. Within 100 years, it is my understanding, this will be a fifth density species. It will not take us another 30 million, because again, these evolutions have already happened, and us souls were involved in them. So when these stories happened on Orion and the Pleiades and Aldebaran and Lyra and Vega and all these different places, these were us. This was our stories. We did not lose all our wisdom and intelligence when we came to Earth, when we chose to come here. And it is my understanding that there are some new souls here. There are some groupings of much newer and younger souls here. And perhaps for them, yes, they will be moving into a fourth density civilization. But most of us will be moving into Gaia. We will be moving into the true 5D, into our crystal light bodies. And some of us wanderers will be returning back to the Blu-ray home, back to sixth density home. Also, besides that, were we to even not consider all that, I have said before that because of time dilation, meaning as you move up in vibration, up in density, up in dimension, the measurement relative to that, to your old perspective of time, would imply that, or you will have the experience that time is accelerating greatly. So that one who spends, say, a day in fifth density physical vibration could come back and a year or 10 years had passed in third density. So because of this, even if we were to say a 30 million span from third density measurements, because they were giving these measurements in third density measurements, they even said this. So therefore, 30 million years literally could break down to 3,000 years or something within the actual experience of the ascending soul moving from third to fourth to fifth density, because you will start to move at a much, much faster rate and vibration. But let us continue to explain the fourth density green ray or love ray being. They will be represented best by a space-faring race like the Pleiadians or the Alpha Centaurian. Fourth density positive species would be to varying degrees telepathic and have much greater lifespans than third density beings. Also much greater technology. They will be a connected, harmonious society united in the love ray. Be completely beyond religion and instead have some form of spirituality. Because of the choice here, we will have a split, and we will also have the fourth density negative species and civilization. A fourth density dark civilization would be a high technology spacefaring civilization like the Anunnaki or the Zetas, with little to no spirituality. Instead, they will have a credo and rituals expressing and glorifying power and the love first of the individual and whatever serves their power. They will always be some form of authoritarian like society, like the Nazis, even if they have corporatism or some other form of configuration. The power will be a pyramid scheme going to the top, through predation on the weaker, wherever they may be found. At the very top of the fourth density crusader races sits the Archons, or Lords of the Dark, Lords of the False Light. They are those fourth density dark beings whom, having learned the esoteric secrets of power and knowing and finding their own infinite nature, they yet deny it within others, and refusing to unify with all, they instead block off the heart chakra and touch intelligent infinity through the lower and violet chakras alone. Therefore, having infinite knowledge but almost zero wisdom, infinite power but no love and understanding, no peace, no satisfaction, only hunger. Thusly, they are driven to conquer. Fifth density. Fifth density is the density of unity. Beyond time, its inhabitants exist in the quasi-physical crystal light bodies. In fact, physicality for most in this density is a complete choice, and bodies are often abandoned by the sixth. Although a sixth density being may express in a body or not, they may flow through various forms to express themselves. And of course, I forgot to say it, but because of the veiling at third density, all the beings from fourth density up will be invisible to third density beings. Not see them until you yourself can maintain fourth density or fifth density vibrations, at which point you will definitely begin to perceive them. So again, many of us are already experiencing the fifth dimension of wisdom and unity and love, fully beyond the ego, and there will be many of us ascending. There is a whole collective of us. Mainly, we are the blue-ray starseeds who came here. All of us will be moving into 5D Earth. There will be, for some length of time, from their perspective, I really doubt it will be anything close to millions, maybe 100, maybe hundreds of years from their perspective experience of fourth density souls evolving and living in a world of high technology and plenty, and yet still being in bodies. They may experience telepathy, but they will not know full unity. They will not be able to teleport. They will still have to eat somewhat. They will be experiencing a radically new evolution of humanity, yes, but not the same as the crystal light bodies and those moving into unity. You yourself will probably know which path you're on. And we also have the third density souls who, not being able to make the ascension, are going to repeat third density somewhere else. For those dark workers who try to take the fourth density negative path, it is extremely difficult. There will certainly be a few that ascend, but this is the type of thing that a Hitler or a Mussolini or a political leader with power who doesn't care about the masses at all, someone like Donald Trump, for instance, except generally someone that is very intelligent, very cunning, and often will also dabble in the esoteric and magical arts. So someone who truly cares about only power and who has intelligently and fiercely cultivated that power, perhaps through many lives. So this is not just everyone that is filled with anger and hate and is incapable of love. Because all of those are the food for the ascension of the few negative beings who will be able to ascend into fourth density dark out of this whole thing. So again, for most that have closed hearts and who have blocked their soul guidance, who cannot love their fellow man and see the inherent beauty and unity in all, who cannot respect all life forms and the earth itself as a conscious being, and the whole universe itself as a conscious, intelligent, and connected, living, beautiful, loving being, then you will end up being, unfortunately, food for the dark ones. You will end up feeding energy for their plan, while the ascending collective, unfortunately, must part from you at this time. Now, at sixth density, we are dealing with beings who are basically the creators of reality. These are, they are starting to form into collectives, although there is still some individuality. And what I mean by this is, by sixth density, when a sixth density being's experience, first of all, is like being in a dream. Their physical reality is like what we experience as a lucid dreamer in the fourth dimension, except much realer, much more vivid. They can create and experience any reality they want. From my experience in sixth density, they do this through collections of what we call soul families. So sixth density is the level of the soul. This is your true soul level. This is the level where you are choosing to and creating your particular reality. So not just the whole earth, but your experience of earth, your particular family experience, and all the different souls that are interacting with you. Okay? Together, you souls are creating that experience, dreaming it together as part of much bigger collectives. So the sixth density experience to me was a place of void and light, of all kinds of geometric patterns of light, and you could go into any pattern and experience all these other dreams, and you could experience your own dreams and create them any way you want. So that's my experience and understanding of it from here. It is completely beyond time and free of all suffering and limitation. The seventh density is the realm of the oversoul. So when all of the twin flames have fully unified and all the souls have fully joined back into love and had all their experience in the lower realms and drawn back all their power up, so the lower realms have ascended up, basically, then when all the ascending souls and personalities are back home together in the sixth, they will together cross as a collective personality oversoul into the seventh dimension, a place that I have experienced I believe, as far as my understanding now and what my revelations were, a place I have experienced as just pure light and love, where there are collectives and there are still individuals within those collectives, but you can go into these collectives and experience a city or a world or people or a family, because they're all there in the light. We're all there together in the light. And it's all one place and every place and infinite. And this is what I call the true kingdom. Although often I refer to the kingdom as the fifth dimension, meaning the etheric world where everything that we see here in this world is perfect. As I said, I often say it's distorted in the astral, but it is perfect in the etheric, in the fifth dimension, or what Jesus was referring to. Well, he was speaking on many levels, so he was probably referring to the fifth and the seventh. Both of them are the kingdom. And then we move on to the eighth dimension and the higher octaves with the oversoul joining the monad and joining the Elohim networks, or the God beings, the true children of God, the Elohims, which created everything in this universe.